Hey folks, Alan here, and this is the Maker Series Episode 2. That was 4. In this episode, we're going to check out a glassblower in Philadelphia. He's creating interesting works of art in glass. And he's passionate about what it is that he does, as well as 1,000 glass cranes. That's a really interesting little story. Go ahead and check out this episode. Quick little warning, there is a fair bit of weed culture stuff in here, as well as adult language. Just fair warning to you. Enjoy.
Jeremy Grant-Levine, aka Germ Glass, aka Germ Lion, aka. So my personal brand's Germ Glass, but we've kind of like co-branded, like we've named the studio. We call it Crushmore. I've always been artistic. I've always been into art. My family are all artists. My parents are artists, but I never like knew about glass or thought about glass as a medium until I got into weed. Got into weed culture and going to shows, Grateful Dead shit, Fish shit, all that sort of stuff. I bought my first glass pipe and then I just couldn't put it down. It was just this thing that just amazed me, and then I had to have another one. And then I got into marbles. I discovered like this thing where I was like, I have to learn how to make this. Yeah, so I went to Salem Community College, South Jersey, where we learned clear glass, scientific glass. We definitely were not making pipes in school. That was rule number one, was like, no making pipes in school. I had the sketchiest studio you ever seen. I was on like a second floor apartment. We figured out if you rip the carpet out, there was concrete underneath the carpeting. So we just tore the carpets out and just like set up benches, horrible ventilation, and in the middle of the night we would like drag tanks of oxygen up and down the stairs. But we were just, we had to do it. Yeah. So anything possible. So I ended up having to get a job, but luckily in South Jersey, there's a lot of scientific glass factories. So I ended up working in like the scientific glass factories around there for a few years. Ended up moving to Philadelphia, working for this weapons contractor up in Northeast Philly. It was awful. So like I got off probation and was able to have my fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, I'm out moment. And then just like went into it and just, me and a couple of homies had a gig making really cheap glass pendants for Whole Foods. So we're like selling them. Then ended up hitting the road with my buddy JD Mapleston, going out west to where he lived, spending some time in like Spokane, Washington, and traveling up and down the West Coast, learning from a lot of guys out there. This was sort of the beginning of when everybody was just like, the knowledge was opening up and studios were opening up and everybody was becoming really cool and just like very much more open to collaboration and to learning. And like, I lived in the back of my buddy's studio for 3 months, just like sleeping next to the air compressor. We would blow glass 16 hours a day and just like, that was it. 6-7 days a week. Crash in another studio, sleep in the back room for a week, just like work with everybody there and then move on. And and everyone was doing it. And people would come to Philly and, same thing. People would come crash at my place, crash the studio, hang out. And that was it. That was the education. That's how you learned how to be a good house guest. That's an important life lesson. That was the best skill I think I picked up on the road, was just like how to be a good house guest, Mm-hmm. Do a couple dishes. Pick up a sponge, people will be stoked. Things just rapidly progressed, and Slinger made his movie. Degenerate Art, and that got released on Netflix, and just overnight it just like gained attention everywhere.
There's an amazing cultural phenomenon of people making pipes out of glass and no one knows about it.
The Wall Street Journal suddenly was like interviewing pipe makers, doing articles like, there's sort of this perfect storm of marijuana legalization becoming very mainstream. That movie, Degenerate Art, coming out on Netflix, and social media. Like those three things combined really just like was a perfect storm to launch our industry more into the spotlight. You know, and at the kind of the height of this craziness, I had ended an 8-year relationship. So then my whole everything was just reached this boiling point for me with just traveling and exhaustion and pushing my career. And like the first glass crane I made was just out of this need for like a moment of calm. And I've always folded origami, and like as a kid, like origami was this thing I did, like it was just a soothing thing, and like to the point where like I could fold a paper crane without looking, you know, it's just second nature. So it's just like, oh, I'm gonna make a glass crane, you know, just like as this moment, this momentary like, and then that first crane I made, I ended up just like leaving on a pier over at the river, like on Graffiti Pier, just like let that one go. And then, but I posted a picture of it. And somebody, I don't even know who the fuck started this, but some random person on Instagram like commented like, oh, what are you gonna make 1,000 now? And I was just like, yeah, you know, maybe I will make 1,000. There's this Japanese tradition called senzaburu, which is the act of folding 1,000 cranes. And it, depending on like what tradition you follow, if you fold 1,000 cranes within the space of a year, completely unassisted, you're either granted a wish or you're granted longevity, good health, whatever. And like at that point in my life, I was like so desperate for some sort of balance that I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go into this extreme kind of meditation, you know, and my wish is balance, you know, for the end of this whole thing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. How the fuck am I gonna do this? Like, I need to, you know, this is like $20,000 worth of material cost and time and, you know, everything else. So I had a good friend named Kat who she's in the fashion industry, and she had run several Kickstarters in the past for different fashion projects, and she had been successful. You know, she was just like, I think we can maybe raise some money doing this, enough at least for you to have some sort of subsistence living, make this project happen. So then we ran the campaign. We ended up in the end, like amazingly raising like $92,000, which was crazy, you know? So I'm coming up on the end of making it, and now I'm starting to go into the stages of planning the actual installation. You know, it's kind of been nice this whole like year, this extreme kind of putting myself through this like extreme sort of scheduling and meditation and repetition and all this stuff. But then knowing that there's this really fun engineering problem at the end of it to hang all these things, you know, where like, I don't know, I'm looking forward to switching hats, you know, switching gears and working on that. Yeah, I don't have a final date yet, but I'm working with a gallery called Arch Enemy Arts, which is a great gallery in Philly, and they're really supportive of the project. And they kind of came to me and wanted to help work with me. So they're helping facilitate that. So we're working on that and trying to get that all together. And I don't know, it's bigger. It's funny how a small idea can become so much bigger than you ever expected it to, you know? And I mean, after making all these cranes, like, I know it's possible, and it's just like, you know, this was huge, and now the whole process of doing the installation and everything is huge, but like, I already tackled this, and that was the solo endeavor. So it's like I was able to conquer myself and like my own bullshit and my own whatever I had to get over to accomplish this. So I mean, now that I get to work with a team and actually get to work with some people who like know what the fuck they're doing, I'm pretty confident that the final product's gonna be pretty amazing.
Yep. Hopefully that turned into a decent shot.